This time last year I spent a couple of months in Bulgaria in the village of Oresh undertaking the modernisation of an old one-bedroom bungalow. So not particularly wanting to use a hole in the ground, we decided to put a bathroom extension on the back of this bungalow. As you'll notice from the dates on the screen, I first saw the bungalow in late 2019, and by early 2020 we were all in lockdown for a couple of years. I finally got back in May 2022 and I'd put a deposit down back in 2019, so I wanted to get this transaction finished, but it turned out that the owners, who were originally married and lived here, are both out of the country, one in Spain and one in France at the time. So it was the spring of 2023 when I first got out to take ownership of what I bought. By this time, the land around the bungalow was pretty much overgrown, so the first thing we did was get gardeners down, and they spent a day clearing away all the bramble and bush, and it was just piled up to be burnt at a later date. In fact, it was at the beginning of May last year that we broke ground, and one man and his digger came to prepare the foundations at the back of the bungalow for the new bathroom. Now, we covered this construction work in great detail last year with weekly reports, and this is just a recap of what we actually achieved in those 6 or 7 weeks. The digger was needed to clear and flatten the site and to dig out for the footings, and also to dig a channel and a septic pit. Now, the septic pit is deceiving. It's a lot deeper than it looks on any of the videos. The truck delivering the concrete couldn't back up through the gates, and it also had no delivery hose, so the concrete had to be poured straight onto plastic sheeting just inside the property. The challenge was now for the men and their wheelbarrows to get the stuff moved into position as quickly as possible before it went off. With the foundations in place, we now need a lot of concrete blocks. And I mean a lot. To the layman looking on, that's me by the way, it's difficult to tell where the floor level is going to be, so luckily they put a piece of wood in the place where the floor level will be, and I got to understand more of how the whole build was going to go. With the size available to me at the back of the bungalow, I figured this was going to be too big to be just a bathroom, and it would have been a waste. So if you've been studying the layout of the pipes they're laying, then let me tell you that I plan to have an ensuite bathroom straight out of the bedroom and the main bathroom coming out of the kitchen living room area. There will be a partition stud wall eventually. With the use of a bit of shuttering, they're making their own mould for the concrete lintels to go over the window, and you can watch the progress of this as the concrete sets and they remove the wood again. You've probably heard the expression paint yourself in a corner. Well, they're concreting themselves into a corner here. The way in and out of the extension is being closed off, so a new way has to be found to get inside. And this is where you begin to see the two doorways, the one that comes from the living room and the one that comes from the bedroom. So you can now tell where the stud wall is going to go. So now you can see the shell of the extension we've built, and it's time to put that double glazing in. We're getting near to a point now where we're going to have to shut down the site for 2023, so we need to make sure it's waterproof, and this is where the final stage of the extension comes in, to put a roof on it. Bought the roof tiles second-hand from a local farmer who also delivered them and saved us a bit of money. Up to now, the bungalow's been getting its light coming in from the back through the two new doorways, but as the roof goes on, it gets rather dark in here. Although I wouldn't like to work on a roof myself, particularly handling some of the heavier materials, I must admit I wouldn't mind being up here and admiring these views. This house is definitely in a beautiful location. So this month I've been recapping the building of the extension last year, ready for the bathrooms to go in, but also a lot of work was done inside the property itself, and I'll be showing you some of that in a recap next month.